Welcome back, Lenny Randle in the Zone. I'm Ralph Tyko with the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network, and the host himself is here, Mr. Lenny Randle. We're international.
I have some great news. Bella, Bella. I got to tell you why. Shalom. I'm with a gentleman.
Shalom and good Yontif to you.
Good Yontif. So that's what
that means happy holiday.
Every day is a holiday in your life, Ralph.
And tomorrow is Sunday. Isn't that great?
Nate Miller's in
part of the reason it's a holiday every day is that I allow it to be, and that's what we have in common. We just make pretty much every day fun for ourselves, and it spreads, Lenny. I'm delighted to share in the joy that you bring.
We try to bring some joy out in Texas. Nate Miller and I were together during the Texas Rangers retirement of my number with Ivan Rodriguez, Hall of Famer, and we were hosting Nate to learn an internship with radio and TV. So Nate's the official Texas Ranger spokesperson in Texas. And I'm curious about the situation with the hurricanes, the tornadoes, and everything going on. I hope you didn't lose any family members, Nate.
No, I didn't. I have no family down here. It's just me. All my family are in Michigan, and some are in Florida, but none of those guys were affected by the hurricane down there. So everything is fine, and everyone is fine, more importantly.
Good. How is FEMA holding up throughout these disasters? Are they able to provide their services, or are they really up against it?
Honestly, I think they do what they can. I mean, there's always, more that could be done, but honestly, I think FEMA is doing what they can. It's never I guess the estimation was in the billions of people and that were affected, and just billions of dollars in damage. So FEMA is doing what they can, but I don't know if they'll be able to do it by themselves.
Well, this is kind of a disastrous time in our great country. And anyway, you mentioned Lenny, Ivan Rodriguez, and probably if you had to name one player in Texas Ranger history who is at the top of the heap as far as being future Hall of Famer, this, that, and the other thing, he and Nolan Ryan probably right up there, huh? What was he like?
Yeah.
What was he like before the show?
Nolan Ryan. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Nate, because you're in the Texas zone. Go ahead, Nate.
That's a good question. I mean, I'm not originally from Texas, so I can't really give a good answer to that, but I'm sure he was Nolan Ryan. I mean, he wasn't the Nolan Ryan that he would become, but he showed, enough promise to actually get to where he would eventually end up. So I'm sure, he had the 98 plus mile an hour fastball. He had, the good secondary pitches, which he didn't really need.
Everybody knows. I'm going to ask you about Ivan Rodriguez, though. Didn't you play with him?
No. He's a broadcaster.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you played in the minors with the Ivan Rodriguez. Okay.
No, I've interviewed him, but I've never played. No.
Let me give you some background on Nate Miller, audience. All you Texas Ranger and Italian fans, Nate Miller is the up-and-coming Walter Cronkite of broadcasting, or the up-and-coming Will Ferrell of broadcasting, or the Eric Lindenberg, or the Scott Booyah from ESPN. He is a journalist, and he had cerebral palsy, and he had the privilege and the knowledge to be able to have enough guts to go, Lenny, I want you and Ellen to try to get us a radio show for this gentleman because he wants to go on public broadcast. He wants to be like Brian Gumble. He wants to get into business like Ralph Tyko. So we interned him, and he became a great, better than most broadcaster. I'm sorry, Tom Grieve, but he's as good as you in Texas. I have to get that out. And with his knowledge of the players.
Tom, you got to give Tom Grieve credit for being one hell of a breeder too. Ben Grieve had a pretty good little stint in the major leagues, and that's how I remember Tom. Not as a number one draft choice of the Mets that went, wah. I remember him as a Ben Grieve papa.
What's amazing about Tom is his knowledge with Bobby Valentine when we were teammates. They always talked on the bench. They always second guessed or first guessed the manager. They talked openly. So that knowledge of sitting on the bench, not being an everyday player until Ted Williams came along and gave him a shot, and then he got traded to the Mets, it made him who he is today. And it made him the broadcaster that he is today. So I'm thinking that Nate Miller may have picked up some knowledge, some tutelage, or some traits from some of the people like Ivan or Tim Waller and Brad Sham and Randy Galloway. There are a ton of guys that have gone from writing newspapers to radio broadcasting with the Texas Rangers.
Okay, I'll tell you what your privilege is, Nate. You get to perform your skills at a stadium that is so close to the way the Polo Grounds used to be. I don't know if anybody's told you that before, but the when you come in, the bowels of the stadium, just like the Polo Grounds was back in the days. It is I've only been there once in Arlington, but what a gem it really is. And you're lucky for that, if nothing else.
Thank you.
All right.
We had the privilege of sharing that moment, Ralph, recently. We were in Texas a little bit before the storm, tornado, and whatnot. We had about 50,000 people waiting outside to get inside from the Sheraton Hotel where the Dallas Cowboys were. And we actually took over priority over the Dallas Cowboys that day. Texas Rangers did. And we had a great festivity in the stadium. And I think 50,000 people couldn't get in.
Wow.
Yeah, it was packed. It was quite an event. And Nate was, go ahead, Nate. I think you met Charlie Pride there as well that day. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was just, and unexpected too, so I appreciate the invitation.
Nate,
I want
to find out that you've got the pipes for it, no question about it. And Lenny tells me that you have the passion for it. How did that passion get started with you in baseball, if I might ask you?
As a kid, it was the only sport that I didn't get tired of. Like, as a kid, I'm the youngest of four boys, and I was dragged to all their high school football games and basketball games and whatnot. Baseball was the sport that I watched the least, and it was just something that I became fascinated with just because it seems so different. When you think about it, basketball, football, hockey, and soccer, it's basically the same concept, only on a different surface. You try to get to the other end and score. That wasn't like it. That wasn't like baseball. It was just, and first of all, and next of all, like, baseball doesn't have a clock. I love that. Because when I watch basketball, hockey, and football, I always catch myself staring at that clock. And it kind of takes me away from the action. I don't like that. Like, I love the fact that there's no clock on baseball.
That is a great reason to love baseball. And isn't it so ironic that so much is made of slowing down, of speeding up the game, and how much time is spent between pitches and this and that? Hey, listen, you come to the ballpark, time should not be a factor in your mind. I wonder why baseball is developing, is succumbing to that hurry up and wait mentality that Americana has.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to ask Lenny, is that internationally, are they concerned with speeding up the game like that, or is it no concern at all?
I got a teammate I took to Italy named John D'Acquisto. We went to Rome, Italy, and we were talking about that during our tour with Fergie Jenkins and Greg Randle. We don't watch a clock while we're playing. The Italian soccer team does not watch a clock. Only Major League Baseball is concerned about a clock. I like long games. What do you got to do for 2 to 4 hours? Who's in a hurry to go home?
Better than being out at the ballpark anyway, for crying out loud. And so you spend another half an hour. What the heck is that about? And you're confirming to me that I didn't think it was that way internationally. That maybe they love the game more than the rest of it, than the accoutrements, the stuff that goes with it.
I'm going to put it to you like this, Ralph. The only people that I think they're in a hurry are the front office people who got a date or some cookies in the oven, and the Dodger fans.
That's right. Yeah,
the Dodger fans leave early. Yeah, get there early, leave early. I don't understand that. New Yorkers, they stay the whole game. Texans, they stay to the 12th inning. Most cities, they stay to the 12th inning and 9th inning. They don't have a hot date, food in the oven, daycare problems. They came to be entertained, and it's entertainment, really good entertainment for 4 hours. You can't beat the price for 3 to 4 hours of entertainment. To cut it down to 2.5 hours, I know some pitchers do pitch fast, like Fergie Jenkins when he was pitching. He was a 2-hour game. He just said, "Give me the ball, let's go." Some guys say, "Give me the ball, let's go." They don't want to think about it. Let's just go.
Okay, let me ask you this: while you're talking, I'm formulating a question for our guest. How has the alignments, the new alignments, like the way players are played, comes in from the bench, where the shortstop goes over to short right field, this, that, and the other thing, how has that affected the flow of a game that you announce?
I think it makes it more interesting. I mean, it was just something that you didn't see, 15 or 20 years ago. So at the very least, it gives you something else to talk about, something new to talk about. It doesn't really, take a lot of time. And it's just like, something happens on the field, you talk about it. Player shifts, you talk about it. You talk about how unusual it looks. You talk about how some teams do it more than other teams. Like, I know Detroit. Detroit never shifts. They never shift. They're a very old-fashioned team. So you talk about that. And you talk about how a team might shift more than other teams. I think the team that I have off the top of my head, the Rays, they always shift, as opposed to Detroit, who never shifts. So you make that kind of comparison. So it gives you something else to talk about, something new to talk about.
Okay. Lenny, are some teams better than others at the shift? And overall, is it something that's going to come and go?
I'm going to be real blunt, you guys, Nate, Miller, and Ralph. Here's my bluntness. You got to be a mental midget to not bunt if there's a shift. You're thinking about yourself and not the team if you shift. Ted Williams told us to bunt. Billy Martin told us to bunt. Joe Torre told us to bunt. Today's guys don't want to bunt because they want power numbers, power hitters. They don't care about striking out. We had pride in a game about taking a pitch. We would find ourselves if we took a pitch. We would have it in kangaroo court. If you took a pitch, you didn't care about the game. We went up there to hack. We totally went up there to hack. And if you didn't hack, it was a fine. $10, $100, depending on who was the kangaroo court person that day.
Well, could the new philosophy of taking pitches be responsible for fewer complete games because they're working pitchers more in the count and they're accumulating pitches and it goes by pitch count nowadays. Never did before, but it does now. So is it a different game in the sense that hitters are instructed now to work the pitcher?
It's kind of like this, Ralph, to put it bluntly. If you can hit, I don't care what they throw up there, a manager's going to let you free swing, freestyle. If you're a long ball hitter, then you hit the long ball. If you're a single hitter, hit singles, steal bases, do doubles. But guys don't want to get dirty and steal bases. You're not going to see no 20, 20, 30, 30, 40, 40 anymore. You're going to see 5 and 10. Even though a guy has speed, what good is to have all the speed and you don't know how to use it?
Right. Good point. Plus the game, they're looking for the 3-run home run, too.
It's ruining the game. The home run is ruining the game. I'm just being very fun. I think it's more exciting to watch a Ricky Henderson, a Maury Wills, or A-Rod, a Jeter, who does a little bit of everything. You play defense, you steal bases, you get the man over, you hit and run, you squeeze bunt, you get brushed back, you charge the mound, you break up the double play, you have a fight if a guy don't like you at the double play, and then you just go for it after the game, during the game, and with the family. It's like an ongoing day of excitement. It used to be. Now it's boring. Basketball, that's why kids don't want to play. Soccer's exciting, basketball is exciting, football's exciting. We're losing our baseball fans, and it's sad. It really is.
Right. Is that just for the corporate dollar that they see home run, and that brings in the excitement? Or
let me give you a little bit of example. I knew a guy like Alomar, and I could name 20 guys that went from 5 home runs, and they would get 150 hits a season, and then all of a sudden they would do like Carew, they bunt, single. Then Carew was challenged as well, but he still hit for an average. And then the manager or the front office, usually it's the front office, will say, yeah, but you only got 50 or 75 ribbies, Lou Piniella. You got to hit more home runs. So the guy's going to go up there. He's not going to have an average. He's going to try to hit more home runs. You're going to see 100 strikeouts in Reggie or Aaron Judd or whoever, Bryce Harper. You're going to see more strikeouts from those guys because they're trying to go deep. What would you rather do, Nate? Would you rather get on and contact or strike out?
I'd rather get on.
Pitcher 100 no.
Get on, you make things happen. You strike out. Even just putting the ball in play makes things happen.
It does, Scott. That's the key to the game. Put it in play. Strike out, boom, you didn't contribute. A striker, you're sitting on the bench 2 or 3 times. One hit wonder. Maybe not a hit that day. It's ruined the game because guys think if I hit 20, 40 home runs, I'm going to make $20 million. It's not always the equation. If you hit 20 home runs and you hit 250 or 199, somebody's going to replace you.
Right. That's absolutely correct. You have to have it at least to a certain level. Let's put it that way.
And Nate, you could attest to this, and you too, Ralph. Certain guys, like, Cabrera's got to hit. He's a first baseman, got to get 10, 15, 20 home runs. Wayne Boggs, he could have got by with 5 home runs, but he got 200 hits, and he hit 340 or 350. Or Tony Gwynn, he hit 325 or 310. But they were always on base. They would always have run scores. They were always production, maybe 80 to 70% of the offense. So you got to look at the position. Some guys, you look at Mike Smith. I can go old school, middle school, or right now. You can look at the guy with the Colorado Rockies. He's hitting 20 bombs a season. He's going to get maybe 30, and now he's hitting for an average. So some guys like Gonzalez, they might hit for an average and power. It just depends on the pride of the player.
Well, I'm going to ask you this, Lenny. How much is it worth at the negotiating table if you could say, I moved a runner up and the guy scored later?
If you take a stat,
is it a nothing? There's no stat for that. Does it ever come up in the negotiating table? And does management think it's worthless? And if so, they're setting the tone for the way the game is played. just by that, because everything followed the money. Everything comes from the pocketbook. You can't blame the player if he's not being rewarded in his career for hitting, taking two and hit the right. What can you say? Am I on track with that?
No. What a player does now, today, because of, you got the nerds with the computer, isometrics, and you have your own Scott Burrows or your own personal agent or your own personal family member keeping up with that stat. And that stat is something you take to the table. You can say, my brother, my uncle, my agent, or my best friend says, and I got proof that 90% of the time I'm helping the offense because I'm David Eckstein and I'm getting the guy over. I'm David Eckstein, I'm Bucky Dent, and I'm moving the runner over. I'm following my manager's command, and I'm proving it because I'm playing 140 games, because that's what, the guys play 180, 160 games is not happening anymore. You see guys playing maybe average 140 games, 110 games, and then out of those 110 games, 90% of what you produce, you should have a record of it yourself personally. And if you don't have a record of it yourself personally, then you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Right. But management still responds in a positive way. This is a question. Management still responds in a positive way to players that do the little, quote, the little things, the intangibles.
And that's really up to the type of manager you have. See, I had Billy Martin, Ted Williams. They would take a bullet for us, and they go, look, I'm going to get you $10, $20, or $50,000 raise. Just run into the wall for me and do what I say. And that's how it'll be. And I will actually personally give you my money if you don't get it. Now, that's somebody that will back up what they say. I remember getting $10,000 from Billy Martin. I remember getting $10,000, $20,000 extra from Ted Williams just because of execution. It wasn't an ego. It was like, this is what it's going to take the Texas Rangers, the team, to that level. I'm willing to put up money if the owner does it. They were team guys. They were team managers. That's the kind of players that would do that. The Kansas City Royals, that's their whole MO.
Are around today. There are very few big-name managers today. Mm-hmm. Guys like Ted Williams, guys like Piniella, guys like Billy Martin. How many managers could afford that today to do something like that? Or could Buck management in any way? Have things changed to that extent?
All right, let me get my lip roll on. Mike Sosa, Girardi, Dusty Baker, Bochy. I can keep going. How much time do we have?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. There's a few.
Bud Black. Dave Roberts. I can keep going. How much time do we have? There's some old managers out there.
Never mind. I'm starting to think. Sosa's kept his job all these many years. He must be very special.
Players manager. Nate, and Ralph, when a guy goes to the mound and he's cordial with his pitchers, you can tell that the pitcher's not pissed off that he's coming out. Then you got some guys that are damn near throw the ball at the manager like, what the frick are you doing out here trying to take me out? Who do you think you are? I'm so-and-so and so Kershaw. I'm so-and-so Vladimir. Who? You got to see the respect. Some of the managers don't have respect anymore, and that's why you're going to see every year 6 gone to 10 around this time. 6 to 10 are going to be gone in the next 2 weeks.
Okay. I got a question for Nate Miller. Who is someone who helped grease the way for you on the way up, still coming up, and who is someone who held you back?
Okay. In my broadcasting career?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, the one who sort of paved the way for me is actually the CEO of the radio station that I'm working for now. Her name is Sammy. She was actually the first Latino woman to actually hold a full-time broadcasting job. She's retired now, but she's been like a mentor over the past 5 years, and she's not really she's not really into sports broadcasting so much, but she kind of taught me, the ins and outs of it. And so, yeah, I basically owe, what I've done in my career to her and to...
Good. I'm glad you get a chance
know,
to thank her then on these airwaves, because that's what it's all about in life, is people helping people.
And it's interesting because 2 weeks ago I celebrated 5 years on the air with the network that I'm working for now. And what Sammy did was she treated me to a luxury suite at the Rangers game that night. They were playing Seattle. So that was a lot of fun.
Wow. Very, very cool. Very cool. Anybody you'd like to say held you back? Anybody that, anybody or circumstances that held you back, or?
Honestly, I would have to say myself at one point. Like 10, 15 years ago, I never thought I could do this. I really didn't. I didn't have a sense of humor. I didn't have, the perspective that I have now. And it's just, I wasn't positive. You have to have that, whether you're in broadcasting or whatever it is you do, whether it's baseball player, a lawyer, doctor, whatever. You have to have a positive outlook. Otherwise, you're not going to get anywhere. And finally, I just said to myself, like, this thing, the cerebral palsy, that's not going anywhere. That's not going anywhere. It could be a lot worse. Just have fun with it. Just have fun with it. Whether it's a birth defect or a birthmark, have fun with it. Get passionate about something. You can't have passionate without Nate, by the way. Just get passionate about something. Stick to it, and you'll be fine. Like, I don't want to just sit and flip burgers. I've worked too hard. I have 2 college degrees. I've worked too hard. I'm like to roll over and die, and I'm just not going to do that. So at one point, it was just myself that was kind of holding me back. That was before all of this happened.
What a great answer, and so much to look for everyone. Myself
inspirational, man.
Reminded of. That's absolutely a wonderful answer. Nate, I'm rooting for you. I'm going to see you on absolutely national TV. Wow.
Appreciate that.
Listen, Ralph, he's very inspirational. Let me tell you how I in Texas. I met him through Major League Baseball Network, Aaron Lindenberg's show. And he goes to me, there's a kid coming out that's going to help you do. I did actually a live film, down footage. She hasn't even seen it yet. And it was a live documentary movie number 2 that we're doing. So I said, okay, where do I meet him? He goes, I'm in the lobby already. I'm already in the lobby. And he goes, oh, by the way, we're going to the Red Lobster. I got coupons. I said, okay. And the other guy I had met, who was a pro mayor of Artist in Fort Worth, Gary Gage, he says, well, I got a truck, and I want to drive my truck because, Lenny, I've never met the guy. He was always a fan. A lot of fans you never get to meet. So 30 years later, we meet Gary Gage, and we go to the Red Lobster, we talk with him, and I have no idea that we're going to go to the game together, and this is the guy that Eric recommended to talk with and be on the show with. All of a sudden, we get to Texas Ranger Stadium, and he's treated better than George Bush. He has women coming after him. He got food catered. They're wiping his mouth, his lips. I'm going, wait a minute, who is this guy? And I didn't know that he used to work part-time for the Texas Rangers, and that with Jake Blake. Is it Mr. Blake, I believe, is the correspondent for the Texas Rangers. And all of a sudden, the staff realized, oh, he's doing the show with you, Lenny. Okay, fine. This is going to be great. So every day, I can't believe it, Ralph, we were carte blanche, baby. I'm coming back.
Nice. No more Red Lobster coupons.
No more Red Lobster.
We're paying full price.
Yeah, so we got to get you down there one day out of Alameda to go to Texas, where the real Cowboys are.
Yeah. There's a good chance of getting a Jew boy to go to Texas. Oh, yeah. You got a real good shot at that. No. Actually, my son's mother graduated from Rice in Houston, the late Diane Satin. And there's a lot to be said for Texas. And I was stationed there in the Air Force. I was stationed there for basic training and for tech school, stationed in San Antonio, which was beautiful. And then they sent me to Amarillo, which was not so beautiful in terms of the world. But there's a Texas mentality that only folks like Lenny Randle can overcome. You love everybody.
The weird thing about it, I thought I was going to see Nate, a guy in a cowboy hat and coming off a horse, you know, and I didn't realize that he really is not from Texas. I think, was it Chicago or Wisconsin or somewhere like that, or Ohio or Michigan?
Michigan, yeah.
Michigan. So that's a good reason to leave Michigan, right? Snow. Go to Texas.
Yeah, no. Well, I'll tell you what. If you're announcing big league ball, and if you're involved in the industry as you are, they could send you anywhere. The country is homogenized. Television has brought that. I say things about Texas jokingly. Texas, Arizona, I've heard such wonderful things about Arizona from you in a talk we had the other day that I'm going to splice a couple of talks. I'm going to splice on to this show, and 3 days of Lenny Randle. That's what we're going to have. And if you said nice things about Arizona, and I thought Arizona was hopeless, but not so. So
no.
I'm open to Texas too. Are you just crisscrossing the country? Is it you go from Arizona one day, Texas the next, Lenny?
Yeah, I'm doing camps around the country right now, folks, so everybody knows. And the camps around the country are everywhere I've played, lived. I went to Arizona State, played in Texas. I've been to 31 different cities in 31 countries. So I'm just recycling those trips all over again. I'm meeting those people that I met over the career from New York. I was with Crane Pool. I was with Lenny Dykstra and some Met guys and Roy White, Yankee guys, because I was on 16, so I have like 600 teammates.
Lenny, because you have all this experience, and I have the privilege of talking to you on a regular basis, I'm just going to ask you the things that come to mind. Joe Torre was one of my heroes. I'm from New York. He's from Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah.
He played in the big leagues on a team that replaced, at least for a while, replaced the Giants in my heart. When they left, I was 11, the Milwaukee Braves. He played on great teams. My question is, what was he like as a person, not just as a manager, as a person?
Joe Torre was a teammate because before he took the job from Frazier, he was a third baseman, catcher, first baseman. So when the transition came for us to go on the mound one day, particularly Seaver was pitching, and Seaver goes, Joe, you're going to be the next manager here. And Grody and Stearns are, up and coming, so don't worry about my slider. Let them worry about it. And Buddy Helson goes, look. Buddy Helson goes, Joe, we got to get rid of Frazier. No, and then they knew something was going on because there was some rumors that Torre was going to be the next manager of the Mets. And he goes, okay, Rumi, just go slide her away, and by the time you get this guy out, we'll walk back to the dugout. I fire myself as a catcher and a manager. And it actually happened the next day. The next day, Torre was the manager. And now we have to look at it as a player manager. And he was friendly, and he had a lot of jokes. And I could tell you another joke. We're with Craig Swan on the mound one day, pitching, and he goes, who are you going to bring in, Skip? And he goes, I'm going to bring in Lockwood. And Swanee goes, no, don't bring in Lockwood, bring in Apodaca. And he goes, no, bring in Corbel, a lefty. And Joe goes, look, let me worry about that. Don't you worry about none of it. He goes, why? Because I went to a restaurant last night, and it was called Mama Leone. And I still got a little pasta in my
Mama
stomach.
Leone's antipasta.
And then he farted. He actually farted on the mound, guys. He farted, the worst fart ever. And he goes, I'm going to stay here until this fart goes away. You give me a 3-2 curveball and get this guy out, okay? He goes, Joe, hurry and get back in the dugout. Please take it with you. I'm not making this up. So what happened is, Swanee got the guy out, ran off the mound. You got to go, right? And all of a sudden, Swanee goes, what, you know, and the Milo Hamilton and all the broadcasters, why did you sprint out? Because he never sprinted out the mound. He goes, yeah, Bob Murphy. He goes, why did you sprint out the mound? Well, if I tell you the truth, it's an Arizona State thing when Winkles used to have a sprint out the mound. But Joe Torre left the worst Mama Leone fart in the history of mankind, and it's still on the mound.
Well, for those of you out there, Mama Leone's was on, I think it was 48th Street in New York.
Yep. Yeah.
And it was, I can't believe I called back to one of my friends not a couple of years ago. It died. The restaurant died. It was wonderful Italian food. 7 courses. You'd go, they'd sit you in these exotic dining rooms. Beautiful, beautiful restaurant. And, you know, with great food. So that brings back some memories right there. What was your first day in New York like with the Mets? What, Lenny? First day.
My first day in New York. Yeah. Oh, my God. Oh, my. Willie Mays greeted me. Willie Mays, Ed Kranepool, and Grody. In that order. Willie Mays, Ed Kranepool, and Grody. In that order. And I go, what the heck's going on? It was like, welcome New York, bro. Welcome New York. Now, shit. Now, I'm going to do Willie. This is Willie. Now, you just shut your damn mouth and do as I say, and as I do, then I'll get you a Cadillac. Now, we're going to go down to get dry and get your car so you can relax. Don't you leave that field without dirt on your suit. Now, you leave that field every day with the dirtiest suit on the planet. Then the New Yorkers will love you. Now, you leave that field with a clean suit. Now, you got the answer to me. And I got a knife. I said, okay, Buck. Then Kranepool goes, if there's anything you need, watches, cars, jewelry, a date, I got you. Of course. Okay, Crane. And then Grody comes to me, and Grody goes, Lenny, the media here sucks. The media are the worst people on the planet. I got to talk to them every day. If one of them, like Henry Keck and so, he started naming names. If they give you a hard time, have them answer to me. I'm a hitman in this clubhouse. I don't put up with none of their crap. I don't need their stories. I don't need them. They need my stories because I'm the guy catching every pitcher every day, and they got to talk to me.
Okay, now.
Whether they like it or not.
Once or twice in our talks, you didn't like him. Obviously. New York press might have been tough. Who did you
I didn't have a tough time with
the
it.
New York press?
I did not dislike it.
I'm sure you didn't have problems.
No, I joked with him. I didn't have a problem. Other people had a problem. I looked at him as a clown. I looked at him as a comedian. I looked at him as Woody Allen. To me, he was like Woody Allen with an ink pen. A clone Woody Allen with an ink pen. Now, everybody knows what Woody Allen looks like. Little hairline, hair stringing down like Bozo the Clown, and glasses. Okay? And I would humor him. I just humored him every day. So, Henry, I don't know why.
I New York like writers, though, who did you respect and not have to humor?
Oh, like a writer or some person or just anybody?
A journalist.
A journalist. I didn't have. I was so fortunate. Listen, I used to sit with the guys, batting practice and after BP, and just shoot the breeze around the batting cage. Red Smith shook his hand, took him to lunch, took him a date, and he told me I was polite because I introduced him to one of his friends, and I grabbed her hand like Lady Di, and I kissed her hand. And he goes, Lenny, you're British? I go, my dad got a little tea party in him. I don't know. But I didn't have any. I remember Marty Noble. I remember Schrapp, Jeremy Schrapp's dad, I remember all those Jeremys coming in. I saw Walter Cronkite kids. I didn't have a problem with any of the, I couldn't figure why guys were having problems with journalists. Just hear them, tell them the story, and move on. That's how I looked at it. I didn't look at it like they were against us. I didn't look at them as antagonists. I looked at it as like, the guy's got to feed his family. He's got to get a story. I'm going to give him some story off the wall like Michael Jackson and Garth Brooks, but I'm going to give him a story.
Give them something to think about. At least pull up their pads a little bit.
Well, I wanted him to write about not just baseball stuff, like why did you take Mazzelli out with Liza Mazzelli to a Broadway play? Why were you with Earth Kitt? I mean, well, she needed a glove. It was, stuff that she needed a glove. It was pre-game celebrity game. We had a lot of pre-celebrity games before the game. From Joe Namath coming out to the quarterback that replaced him, Todd.
Eartha Kitt was something else. Tell me an Eartha Kitt story.
Oh my God, she used to come and kick out. She had her voice, and she had like a lisp and thing. That cat. Remember the cat woman in Batman?
Yeah.
I don't remember the movie. You guys Google it or YouTube it. The cat woman in Batman is Eartha Kitt, 24/7. She talked a lot. She had a
White House and told Lady Bird Johnson where to put it.
But if he was smart, he would have put.
See, every time I talk to Lenny, I teach him a little Yiddish. He teaches me Italian. He teaches me life. I teach him Yiddish. She had, here's the word for the day, Lenny. It's called chutzpah. Chutzpah. Like Hanukkah, chutzpah. And that means guile, gall, guts, oxy, all of those things into one. And she had it. And she was an incredibly talented woman, not just the Catwoman thing. She, I can't think of any names of any of her songs just off the top of my head, but she was special, and she had a certain amount of class. She was from Louisiana originally, and just kind of made up the dialect. She had a dialect that she used that was all, you could say, affected or what have you, but she took that to the bank, and quite a woman. And you got to spend time with her.
British, a lot of time with her. She was an amazing woman. She called, got to come and see my plays. I go, we're gonna come to you. I love going to plays. I love going to Broadway. And I go, well, how about I give you a glove with some tickets? Make a trade out here. Yeah. She was just, and I met the cast, and I'm from the Ain't Misbehaving to a lot of the plays on Broadway on a daily basis. It was a daily thing to go there, and then because they come out to the ballpark every day. I remember Lorna Luft coming out. Lorna Luft with Liza Minnelli.
The Wednesday matinees with Broadway too. So you guys have a night game. God. Am I right?
Yeah, right. Night game, $2, $1. 12 o'clock matinee. Yeah, it was phenomenal. You had to get in the park by 4 or 5, take the train in or whatever. It was fun. It was exciting to me. And you still got to get your rest because New York never sleeps.
For sure. I'll ask you this. What city did you enjoy playing in the most, Lenny?
I got to say, for the entertainment factor, never a dull moment was New York. Being the Yankee and the Met, it was like rock star, Beatles, a Bon Jovi concert every day, walking in the stadium. 150,000 people trying to figure out why they're there. And then they want autographs, and they want tickets, and they want anything that you could give them. They just want your time. And it was wonderful to get that inspiration pregame. I mean, even Steinbrenner would sign, for an hour out in front of the stadium. Even, Torrey, Lee Mazzelli. I mean, even the ex-players, the Pignatanos. It was so amazing. They knew more about Joe Pignatano than they knew about Seaver. because Joe Montano would talk about his tomatoes. He had tomatoes. So people would bring in fertilizer.
He grew
to
tomatoes
the ball
in the garden with Joe.
In the garden, in the bullpen.
Now, I'm going to tell you a little baseball story. I went to a doubleheader alone when I was 16 years old in the Mets' first year. I just couldn't get anybody to go with me. I'm sitting there, went early, had good seats, caught a ground ball in batting practice off the bat of Joe Pignatano. It's a little foul ground ball. I caught it. The usher comes up to me and says, "There's a kid over there that wants a ball. If you give me the ball, I think I can get your broken bat in return for the ball. I can't promise you for sure, but if you give me that ball, I give it to the kid, I'll try to get your broken bat." Whoa. I give him the ball. Where am I going to catch a broken bat? That's not going to happen. So I'll always catch another foul ball. I give him the bat. He returns with a bat, broken bat for me, and it's a Kenny Hubbs model bat. They were playing the Cubs in a doubleheader. Significance: Kenny Hubbs dies the next year in a plane crash. Rookie of the year, has this, that, and the other thing. But my point is that doubleheader had Marv Throneberry missing first base and second base on a triple. And famous thing where Casey comes out to argue. Cookie Lavagetto sends him back. Don't worry about it. He missed second. He missed first base too. And in the second game, Lou Brock hits a home run. Lou Brock, 146 pounds, playing with the Cubs, hits a home run into the center field bleachers in the Polo Grounds. 7 other guys had done it. Joe Adcock, Hayes, very few. I watched Lou Brock do that as a Cub. Quite a doubleheader. That reminded me. How to go with that, Lenny? That's how my works. So the Piggy has a special place in my heart. Ken Hubbs' bat I went into the Air Force. I knew my mother would throw it away, so I gave the bat to my friend Marty's mother, who I thought would keep it forever. She threw it away. I couldn't get mad at my best friend's mother, but I would have been mad at my mother. So I don't have the bat, I don't have the ball, but I have the memories. And that was Joe Pignatano. Sorry for the ramble, Lenny.
That's a good story. I'll pick you to tell back. Yeah. I'll try to get you on air one day.
Absolutely. Hey, Lenny, my man, we've come to the end of it. This has been a good show. Nate, are you still with us?
Yep.
Beautiful. I'm so impressed with you. You are an inspiration. As I said, you have the pipes. Please come back to the network, and with or without Lenny. We've got 14 shows on this network. We'd love to have you on a bunch of times. Would you come back and visit? Are you on Facebook?
Yes,
Are you on Facebook?
In fact, I just sent you a friend request. So.
Oh, beautiful. I will go to the computer this afternoon, and I will answer it, and I will send you a link to the show when it comes out. Lenny, I'm going to attach the other 2 or 3 shows that we've done in the past few days and blend it all together. You are in Lenny Randle's corner and out there on the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. Maybe we'll name the show Lenny Randle's Corner. What would you like to name it, Lenny?
Nate, what do you think? Give me your opinion.
Lenny Randle's Corner sounds good. I don't know.
Lenny Randle in
Hot corner? Hot corner?
I was going to say that. Hot corner. Lenny Randle.
Hot corner, third base.
All right.
Don't blow it.
Do that.
Come to the hot corner. Okay.
Oh, then I got to ask you a question about versatility. It kept you in the
That's
game
important.
for a long time, didn't it, Lenny?
The game in playing all positions is phenomenal. I would recommend every kid, don't just be a closer like Romano Rozier. Play first base, outfield. Do like Shine Green. Go from right field to pitching and get a hitter out and go back to right field. Play first, third, and second. Play at least 4 or 5 positions. Pudge even played second base when he grew up. He went to first, and he played right field, and he ended up as catcher. John Bench even played first base. Even the current guys, like Cabrera was a third baseman when he broke in. A-Rod was a shortstop, went to third, went to second, went to first. Only guys that didn't go anywhere was Martinez, Edgar Martinez, and Big Papi. They don't know what a glove looks like.
That is very good analysis. Big Papi especially, didn't know what a glove.
Yeah.
But it didn't hurt him one bit.
And he was a good fielder. It's just, I don't know why he didn't. See, it's going to be a big thing, Nate and Ralph, when they go in the Hall of Fame as what? A DH? As a third baseman? As a first baseman? As an outfielder? They should have played at least 50 to 100 games a season, or 25 even. Then they will be classified complete player. Like Cepeda, first DH.
So you can go on record as saying that Edgar Martinez, although he did play a little third in his career, played a lot of games, as a matter of fact, when he first came up. I think it was third.
Third and first.
He doesn't qualify as a Hall of Famer in your eyes?
No, to me he does. But that's going to be the debate with the other people, not me. I think he's good to go, both of them. There's going to be a debate on that between the two of them. What position? They'll be the first DHs in the Hall of Fame. Who is in there as a DH? But is there anybody? Come on, guys. Trivia question. Whoever knows that question.
Did you play with Ron Blomberg?
I played against Ron Blomberg. Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be a free Red Lobster meal by Nate if they can figure out who's the first DH in the Hall of Fame. Get your coupons ready, Nate.
In his day, Nate will be dined at French restaurants. The lobster, I hope he remembers the Red Lobster. They'll come to him and they'll say, Nate, do you remember Ralph Tyko and Lenny Randle? And he'll go, vaguely.
Vaguely, yeah, right. He'll kick us to the curb, right.
Oh, boy.
All right, guys.
Hot corner. I like that, guys. Hot corner. All right.
Lenny Randle's Hot Corner on the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. We named it, christened it, and did all that fancy stuff to it. I remember you more than vaguely, Nate Miller. I'll always remember you. You're an inspiration. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
All right. We'll talk soon, Lenny.
Okay. Shalom, ciao, arrivederci, auguri.
Be well. I have nothing to add to that. We've covered it. You're the international representative of humanity, Lenny. If anything can bring us together, it has to be sports and folks like you. Really.
Ken Matsukata just joined us in Japan, guys. Just letting you know. Catcher.
Beautiful.
That's
teach him
All
some
right.
Yiddish for me, okay?
I'm going to bring him out. He'll be eating Yiddish and eating sushi.
And gefilte fish. You can make gefilte fish, make sushi out of gefilte fish. We'll talk about
there you
that.
Go.
We'll market. We'll corner the market on gefilte fish sushi.
From straight out of Alameda, right?
And Texas.
In Texas. Do they have fish in Texas anymore?
Not.
Well, I'll tell you what they do have. They have houseboats that you couldn't believe.
Oh my God!
In Texas.
Yeah, they have great houseboats.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're praying for you guys down there, Nate. So all the blessings to the Texans and Texas Ranger fans. Hope you all get your homes back, get your life back.
And the fish fans too. You gotta keep us in mind. It's Rosh Hashanah.
Thank you.
Be well, everybody.
Yep.
We'll be back soon.
Love you guys.
So,
right,
signing off. See you, Lenny. See you, Nate. Adios, everybody.
All right. Yeah.
I'm back. The most interesting man in baseball is with me. Lenny Randle, this is a thrill, always is. How are you, sir? Are you with me? Lenny Randle.
Hey,
Lenny.
Lenny, how you doing?
Wait. Hold on, Lenny.
Yes, we're on live on radio, Trace.
Are we live now?
We're live.
We are.
Ralph Tyko.
Hi, Michael.
I'm Ralph Tyko. Nice to meet you. Please introduce us, Lenny.
Well, I have a very interesting guest today. She's not only a sports enthusiast and knows everything about California football and Arizona State football and baseball. Enthusiast. Was running around with the Rams and also does films and movies. Tracey Hannah. Not from the Hanna-Barbera family, but might be a royalty coming after this show.
Okay. Very nice to meet you, Hannah.
It's very nice to meet you, Michael. And you can call me Tracy. Yeah.
Tracey Hannah. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I got you.
Oh, Hannah's a very
I'm
popular
Ralph.
name
You
these
can call me Zig. You can call me, but
days.
just don't call me late for dinner.
Okay.
All right. So,
well, great. And,
Lenny, I want to know how you guys met, and was it back in Arizona?
No, we just met actually about a week ago. A friend of mine, we're shooting a film in Italy, doing the Major League Baseball documentary film. And Reggie Henry, who used to be with Motown Records, I grew up with him, went to University of Laverne, worked with Barry Gordy. He called me and said, Lenny, I think I have a group that wants to sponsor your next 2 movies, or 3 movies, and a reality show. And I said, okay, I'm ready. I'm in Sicily. How are we going to meet? He goes, well, we got to fly to California. I meet you in Ontario at the Center Grill, and we'll have lunch and talk about film on the water. So I flew back, and Tracy flew in from, I don't know if she came in from Arizona or from somewhere in Burbank. But we met at lunch, and all of a sudden he goes, this is the party that's interested. So I brought my film producer, Ahmad shot, and he goes, God, this is going to be a great adventure. And she goes, oh, by the way, my nephew needs a scholarship. And I said, well, your nephew could end up being a movie because he could be the making of like the Michael Jackson or the baseball version. We could make him a superstar because he has that Derek Jeter look, that Aaron Judd look. And he's also an outstanding student from San Diego City College. So I go, well, there's our movie, number 2. Because
Lenny,
making him a star.
You know what strikes me over the many times that we've talked on these airwaves and the work that you do, before athletics come up, scholarships, going to college comes up, making something of yourself academically comes up. I think that the sports thing is just the front so you can educate the world.
The vehicle. I learned that from Bill Cosby. And Jackie Robinson at Grady Gamish Auditorium in Tempe, Arizona. He was doing comedy. He was a former football player from Temple University. He goes, Lenny, my dentist wants to talk to you about making sports a vehicle to doing something else. I'm going, what? I'm a freshman. They're way above my pay grade. I said, okay. I go, okay, I'll listen. So Cosby goes to me, listen, son, you're a football, baseball guy. I'm glad I quit the NFL and didn't go there because I'm doing comedy and music. You have the opportunity to do what Jackie did in any sport and go football, baseball, basketball, or whatever, but use it as a tool for education. And I'm going, okay, I'll figure that out maybe in 10 years, but right now I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. But it's stuck in your head.
Ralph, I was in the bungalow class with the slow learners. I didn't get it right away. Okay.
No, that's not true. You excelled back then. You couldn't get a scholarship with that. You couldn't get an athletic scholarship without having some some brains, some academic sense. They don't just take anybody for an athletic.
Well, you have to keep it 2.5 or better to play in the Arizona State. So we all have 2.5s or better, the Danny Wrights, the Reggies, and the Bonds. We were academically motivated because our parents are like, if you don't play, you can't play if you don't do your homework. And I'm sure Tracey probably ran through that doing the film. And she's also worked for the White House practically in California with state resident. What's it? Is it Neapolitan? The politician?
Yeah, so Ralph,
Napolitano?
I worked with, Napolitano, Janet Napolitano, who was governor of Arizona, and also became the Secretary of Homeland Security under President Barack Obama. And we worked at Homeland as well. So got to see the inner workings of our great country and world. And I tell you, it's quite amazing. And people really need to appreciate the career people who work every day in our government, because it's a machine, and all these beautiful things we like to appreciate and enjoy in America have to be, managed and created, and somebody's doing that. And I just like when people.
Did you get a chance to meet Governor Pence when you were in Arizona?
I did not. He's Indiana. I didn't have a chance to meet then Governor Pence. No, I did not.
Okay.
Are you familiar with him?
I'm basically wondering how it is that Arizona can produce as many liberal people as they do with their basic mindset. How things are progressing in Arizona. I think the state has come a long way in the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has. And I think a big part of that, Ralph, was that fact that we did have a Janet Napolitano as a governor, someone, because, there have been other governors in Arizona, like there are now, that aren't liberal. Matter of fact, 95% of them are not. So when we have had one, and Janet Napolitano was one who it's not really liberal. People say liberal. I say fair. I'm a Democrat, registered Democrat, but I just like to be fair and just to everybody, all people, and I think that's what Janet Napolitano did. So it gave a lot of hope in Arizona over those years she was in, and when we left Arizona's governor office and had to turn it over to, then Janet Brewer, who was the Secretary of State, the Arizonans were not quite so happy we were leaving, going to D.C. and leaving Arizonans in the hands of others. But it has come along, but I'll tell you, Ralph, it still needs a lot of work. I mean, in a lot of places, and it just takes time for people to change their worldview, so to speak. But it's still a lot going on, but it is way better than it was 10 years ago.
Ralph, let me give you my take. As an Arizona State student and a historian kind of guy and kind of a nerd, my history was the Indians. The Indians' reservations pretty much ran Arizona. Little did you know, the Salt River Project, undercover, is the richest group of people in Arizona. When they donate money from the casino or from the gold and oil and all those preservatives that they have kept over the years as artifacts now, that is a rich culture. And not only them, you have Hispanic culture that invaded through the Aztecs and through the Indians and the Hispanic riches that came into Arizona. Those were bought and sold by somebody, Buffalo Soldiers, Tuskegee Airmen. They're all connected culturally by riches and wealth of minerals. So if you look at the history of, well, who's got the most money? The Indians, okay? If you look at who could buy who, the Indians. I'm going to just give it to you real. You could look at the Grand Canyon where people used to live. You could talk about tourism. You could talk about all the money that comes in Arizona. Little did you know that half of Hollywood now is moving 300 people a week. Used to be a month including Nick Van Dyke, to Arizona, Scottsdale, where movies are cheaper, easier to produce. All the Westerns are produced there, less tax problems, less headaches, less stress. It is a wonderful place to live, Arizona is. Very undercover, low-key. I think our current, I guess, governor, now Senator, possible President McKay, will probably, if they don't bump him off, will be the next president.
Whoa.
And that's because of money and riches and wealth. You can twist it any way you want, but I knew when Charles Barkley was there, and he's talking about, I don't know why we don't celebrate Martin Luther King. And, he's a little political basketball player, but he has a little mock too. So he's opening up minds, and he's opening up doors. And that whole Wayne Gretzky, okay, that culture is an undercover. People don't have to have publicity to do what they do. They do it subliminal, and it's kind of like, the infiltration, how people accidentally get in here from other countries and end up in government from Russia. They infiltrate. So some people are doing that slowly. And they're taking over.
They're assimilating. In today's word, they call it
or you could call it socializing or hanging out at the same club.
Right.
Oh, that's awesome.
Tracey,
I have a great friend, Ralph, named Richard Neuheisel.
How'd you become a sports fan?
Oh,
no, we need a month session on that one now. So briefly.
I'll ask you this. Who is directly responsible for leading you to sports? A parent, a guardian?
I'd have to say my family. I'm from, like I said, I'm a good old girl born in Winslow, Arizona, raised in Flagstaff, Arizona. And all we did was, I actually played, too, so it's quite the tomboy. We had brothers that played with uncles that played with UCLA, USC, went on to the pro football. We had some in basketball. So it was just, we played football, basketball, baseball at all times. And,
well, tell me about Winslow, because my good buddy and a friend of the show has been the brains behind the show. Scott Gilpin is originally from Winslow, went to school, actually originally from Ohio. His family moved to Winslow, and he went to Arizona as well, back in the days when McCutcheon was, the football coach at Arizona?
Frank Kush.
Frank Kush.
Frank Kush.
He was there. Winslow is, as portrayed in the song, I guess it was Creedence.
Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Creedence
Clearwater Revival, one of my groups.
Right, absolutely. Standing on the corner in Winslow, Arizona. How did you get out? People escape it. How did you escape?
Well, okay. So Winslow, I was actually born on Thanksgiving morning, an unexpected little package, on Thanksgiving morning, so a Thursday, and I was actually raised in Flagstaff, but my mother actually taught, and we moved out. She wanted us to get a little more education, so we moved out. But it was very tough because in Flagstaff and Winslow was a very tight-knit group. And like I tell you, great athletes. I mean, a couple of good baseball players, came out and up there. So sports was our main thing. And like Mr. Randle, like Lenny is doing with the kids, I mean, the importance of getting that energy and directing it into something that's constructive for the kids, like playing baseball, playing football, playing something physical. And, I mean, our whole region was just buzzed on that. So I didn't voluntarily leave. My mom moved us out, and believe me, I didn't want to go. I kept in touch over the years, but and actually later in life, Ralph, it's interesting. Now I want to go back and do those things that we did before, try to create those same baseball opportunities for kids today, some opportunities to give them other choices, just electronics. Yeah.
Lenny, how is the RBI program going? Is it making as much headway as you hoped it would?
Ralph, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm kind of blunt. I'm old school. It ain't working. Okay. It's not working because then it's just a tax write-off. It's a 501c. You open up a caddy and you make $52 million. You give somebody $1 million. It makes it look like it's working. How do you split up that $1 million with five more different across the country? And now you split it 10 academies in Venezuela, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and Compton, and now Houston. And then some of the organizations are going, we don't need you, MLB. We're going to do it on our own because we don't like the way you're doing it. You're just hitting out peanuts. And then how do you get one guy out of 50,000 guys a year coming out? And that's Hicks with the Yankees. I used to coach Hicks in Compton, California, in San Pedro. I knew his family. I have private clinics, private lessons, 40 kids show up. And when I look at talent, I'll do it right there in their face on the field. And I go, how can you not sign this guy? How can this guy not get signed? I don't care if he's green, gold, pink, orange, or elephant. Billy Martin would have paid him. Ted Williams would have played him. Hardy Herzog would have played him. When you see talent, you sign talent. You don't let Sal Linton go. I don't like him because he's too chocolate. I don't like him because he's not vanilla enough. I don't like him because he's purple. I don't like his attitude because he's got too much Kobe in him. How can Kobe not play baseball? Because he looks like Michael Jordan, so Michael Jordan don't look good enough to go play basketball. So a lot of kids are turned off, and they're going, it's not about my color, it's about my talent, I thought. So what do I have to do? Well, you take out the trash, and then we'll put you on the team. You go pick up all the bats and chase all the balls, and we'll let you pinch run and pinch hit. You carry the bags and the basket and then bring the stuff in my car, and then we might let you go in and steal a base. I've seen that for 20 years, brother. It's the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's not fair. So how do you divide $1 million up to 100,000 different academies, and you're making $52 million from sponsors? And it's just a number that just sugarcoated because nobody's really telling the truth. Might be $100 million going into the program. Who's doing the books? Nobody.
Whoa.
I'm in the trenches. I'm a soldier. I see it all. You ask the question, I'm not going to sugarcoat and give you the truth. Now, I could be a nice guy and go, oh, it's really working. We have he switched. Shaq used to play, now he's playing basketball. He didn't want to play at the Urban Academy. Oh, we have Hicks. Oh, he's our one guy. He's a switch hitting right fielder, center fielder, phenomenal player. How come there are not 20 of them a day coming out? Because we don't want to sign them. Let's go to Dominican and Puerto Rico and Venezuela and get them because they're better and they're more controllable.
Get them cheaper.
They're cheaper. They're barking. You know, for burger, fries, and a glove, you can sign a guy. And now they're getting agents. I'm seeing the little girls coming because they're 16, 17-year-old, like Pudge Rodriguez at $1.5 million at 17. Heck yeah, I'll go to America. You give me a sandwich at $1.5 million, I'll go. I have an agent. His name is Scott Burrows. Scott Burrows goes, hey, senor, yo habla español mucho. I do your contract, man.
So he's expanded his horizons, so to speak.
Yeah. Horizon, a guy can almost control. He could put a team together, 2 teams together that he's representing as an agent, and say, no, he's not going here. He's going here. He's not going here. He's going here. In fact, I'm giving you 4 other guys if you do take him.
Lenny, doesn't that control the draft in some way? Won't a team X, looks at player Y and says, I'd love to draft him. He's the best, but Scott Boras is his agent.
You got to look at a lot of things now. Now the international scouting. If a scout never comes across the pond, Tracey, and you don't see him in Italy or Japan or Puerto Rico, Taiwan or Canada, and you go, why is a guy already who only thrown the ball 7 times worth $1 million? And he hadn't even played in a pro team yet. And I can name 20 guys because I see it all the time. You know, from Colabello to, you know, they'll be buried 8 years in the minor leagues. All of a sudden they become great and they hit 20 home runs and pick it like great Jeter and A-Rod. And all of a sudden they're $800,000 bid or a $200 million bid like Nomo. And now all of a sudden they went from, how are you doing, Tracey, to, ooh, Tracey is Dick Tracy's sister. Overnight sensation. Is she linked with Dick Tracy? I don't know. She could play shortstop. Sign her. No, make it $1 million. Let's do a bid. Who set the bidding war? Used to just be able to sign a guy for burgers and fries. Now it's a bidding war. It's change. It's greed.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Lenny,
like many
I'm getting reality from you. I love chatting with you.
I'm going to give you the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. My hand's on the Bible right now. I'm just telling you like it is. I'm in the trenches 40, 60 years, man. I've seen it all. I've had parents, listen, Ralph, God bless this situation. Our family had 150 kids show up. These are like Junior Seau's, Justin Timberlake linebackers because they have two talents. Like a Snoop Dogg guy has two talents. He can rap, sing, and play wide receiver, and he can dunk. So we have a camp for kids like that. And we have the camp, 26 coaches show up. All 26 coaches from the college signed all 150 guys. All 150 guys, that was $8 million in 4 hours and 3 scholarships. Help me, Jesus.
Wow. Yes.
How do they go under the radar? I don't get it. It's got to be fixed. It may not be fixed. Nobody cares because nobody's bringing it up. I just happen to bring it up because I'm asleep, and I'm talking in my sleep, folks. I'm talking in my sleep.
No, you're wide awake, and you don't miss a beat.
That's correct,
Tracey,
Ralph. I would concur with that.
Yeah.
So, Ralph, we'll create the Zone new league called the Zone, and it'll be a combination of all cultures league, Hispanic, African American, Jewish, Hebrew, just international league. Every flavor will get to play. Then you'll say, how did that guy do 20 home runs on one swing, and how come he can't get signed?
Well,
help me, Jesus. A new league.
Yes, the comfortably zoned league.
Yes.
There you go. The comfortably zoned.
Loved having you. Lenny and I are going to do this on a regular basis, and I'm going to chart his mission, his journey through life. It's a journey of love. It's a journey of helping others, helping kids, and you sleep well at night, Lenny. I'll bet. No question.
Are you kidding me? I dream of Jeannie with the what? Tracey, how's it go?
All right, Tracey.
I was outside playing.
When you get to Oakland, California, I'm here.
Uh-huh.
Drop by the 420 studio, and I'd love to meet you. Lenny has a date.
Absolutely, brother.
We don't have an airport in Alameda. The airport is 20 minutes away in Oakland, so that's holding Lenny back from coming by the studio.
No, I'm going to come by helicopter like I flew in Dusty Baker. We'll do it like that. That's how we'll get in.
Well, you can land right in my backyard, and in Alameda,
there you go.
We have the biggest redwood tree in our yard in Alameda.
Oh.
So
wow.
you can see it from the sky.
Tracey, we'll film there. That'll be awesome.
Yes.
All right.
Like that.
Bring Tracey with you.
Thank you.
And
Thanks,
I'm honored to have you both. Thank you.
Grazie.
Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.
All right. We'll catch up when we do, Leonardo.
Shalom, my brother.
All right. Now I got you. All right. Hey, would you do me a
favor?
When you see the Pope next, say hi from the Jew boy from Alameda.
Okay. Grazie.
All right. See you guys.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Adios,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Keeping up with Leonardo. Bye.
Bye.
We are back. Randle is zoned with Lenny Randle on the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. I'm going to turn it over to the man, the most interesting man in baseball, Lenny Randle. Lenny.
Hey, ciao a tutti. I'm with una bella donna, una donna Clark. Listen, folks, you've heard of Zsa Zarbor, you heard of Lady Gaga, you've heard of Dinah Shore, you heard of the Kardashians, you've heard of, right? Am I right, folks, so far? Am I right, Ralph? You've heard of these people.
Oh, I've heard of everything. This is your baby.
I have a clone sales manager to die for it. Now, once you see the video of her, you guys are going to be coming out buying cars like crazy at Gosh Ford. She happens to be in wine country hiding out. This is where Elizabeth Taylor used to hide out, and Arnold Schwarzenegger and Bill Murray hide out near Pachanga. And Gosh Ford, is like, you won't even think about buying a car. You just go, okay, anything you want. You know, she has that light.
Well, I want to ask, you go with it, hon. Tell me what you're about. Because we can't see the video.
You can't see the video, then what's the
No, it's a point, because I'm going to show it later. I'm going to voice you now. This show
We're all about now. And, of course, I'm speaking with Lenny, who's absolutely fantastic.
Okay.
One thing about her, Ralph, she knows more about sports than God. Okay.
No, I'm just very into sports.
Does she know more about sports than Alan Blumpkin? I want to know that.
No.
She knows as much as Bill Scully, as much as Steve Garvey, as much as...
Well, let's find out about it. Where you from?
To know them.
No, she's just
all
a story.
the world knows about Lenny Randle. Nobody cares about Ralph Tyko, but we want to know about you. Where are you from? How did you get from where you were to where you are?
Now, Dana, what high school did you go to?
Salisbury High.
Now, you know, PV is right on the ocean over there with Donald Trump's property. She's from right out there. And Kobe Bryant's property right out there. So that kind of...
You're naming some names that are really stomach-turning this morning, Lenny. We're talking Donald Trump. We're talking...
Well, I'm talking about golfing. I'm not talking politics. I'm talking about golf. That's nothing else. And I'm staying totally out of politics.
A marvelous golfer, and what else? What else is it?
Absolutely. I love to golf. I smoke cigars, I ride horses, I sell cars, I talk sports. I'm just not your normal girl.
Okay, well, who'd you grow up? Tell me your first sports experience. What's your favorite sport, and what was your first game that you went to?
Tommy Lasorda, Dodgers, 1976.
Tommy Lasorda, Dodgers. I would have to say that as an L.A. woman, girl at the time, do you remember your first game and who took you?
It was in October. I got my driver's license. I was 16. I took myself and my girlfriend, and we went and watched the Dodgers win, and I don't remember who they played because the guy sitting next to us wasn't letting us drink beer.
16 drinking beer, Dodger Stadium, okay?
Well, it was a long time ago, so it was loud then.
It was okay then. It was 3-2 beer. It was a legal element.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, who am I to blow against the wind, Lenny? So
Can you imagine?
On baseball initially, and did you keep going back to the Dodger games? Did you enjoy it over the years? I
went to probably 30 Dodger games, and then had to join the workforce, and I was training horses for 25 years, and then I got in the car business 21 years ago.
Now, a lot of my teammates ride horses and own horses, including George Steinbrenner, rode a horse and owned horses in Tampa. Lou Piniella, owned horses, ride horses. Johnny Bench, Joe Morgan. I could go on and on and on. And some of the current guys, you know.
Then what
it's a question, why?
Tell me, what is it about horses that attract so many ball players and so many of your teammates? What is the fascination? I know because I've befriended a descendant of Secretariat. His name is Eli, and up till about a year ago, we went to visit him and hang with him, and I know the energy, and I know how cool it is to communicate with an animal that does really communicate. Horses, they don't talk. It's not like Mr. Ed, but they have feelings, and you can sit with them, and you can chill them out, and sometimes they chill you out. Am I right about that?
Well, absolutely, but the famous saying is the outside of a horse is good for the inside of a man because it keeps you centered.
I had a teammate, Dick Allen, remember? Golden Glove, MVP, Dodgers, Philadelphia.
Don't call me Richie, or was it Don't Call Me Dick or Don't Call Me Richie?
It was Don't Call Me Tricky Dick, but we'll leave that alone.
Okay.
We stay out of politics.
No politics.
Well, that's
the funny thing about it
was relatively sane. When Nixon was in, politics were relatively sane back then. Now it's not politics anymore. Now it's just Michigas, Lenny. See, I'm teaching every week, every show I teach you a new word. Michigas is craziness. and it's craziness today.
But this is the first actual equestrian rider, horse trainer, owner extraordinaire from California, which is not known for a lot of horses out here, right? Am I correct? Usually it's Texas, Arizona, and Mississippi, somewhere where horses grow like water and landscape. But this unique woman had the privilege of riding. Okay, not just Appalachians, Arabian horse. What's your favorite? Stallion or
Arabians and half Arabians. I was the Canadian national champion.
You hear that? Folks, you're talking to a Canadian national champion. 2 countries, okay? Hello?
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. How'd you get to the car business from there? That's a kind of a transition.
Okay, here's the transition. Mustang, horse. Okay.
Okay. Mustang, the car?
Well, the horse business requires a lot of traveling, and once you start having a family, you need to settle down and stay in one place long enough to raise your family.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And then you get a Mustang.
No, I drive Mustang.
She drives Mustang.
Boy, I'm old enough to remember when the original Mustangs came out and how cool they were. And my friend from the Air Force, Irv Godless, a fellow New Yorker, drove us around to Yosemite when I first came out to California.
Convertible or hardtop?
Convertible.
All
no,
right.
Wait a minute. No, it wasn't. It was a hardtop. It was a Pony 6-cylinder hardtop. But you got to remember that was still pretty cool.
It was awesome. Mustangs were the same. Remember Bullet with Steve McQueen?
Absolutely. That wasn't a Mustang, but can I tell you? I'll tell you a cute little story about that. When I was stationed at Travis Air Force Base, which is about 40 miles from San Francisco, GIs would come. It was during the Vietnam era, and GIs would come in to go.
Her dad was she's an Air Force brat, so she's an Air Force brat. She lived there. Go ahead.
Oh, then did you live at Travis?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, she did. She lived in Travis, and her dad was a retired colonel, Air Force, like Ted Williams.
His name? I'll be darned. Was it back in the mid '60s? Anyway. I would pick up GIs at the terminal and take them coming back from Vietnam, and charge them with the bus would, and I'd take them to the airport in San Francisco. And in San Francisco, I'd pick up GIs coming to Travis and take them back, take them to the base. And I'd do that every Thursday night, and I'd make a couple of 3 runs, and I'd get my gas money for the week. I'd get my expenses because GIs didn't make very much money.
Hey, but wait a minute. You were the first Uber ever.
I absolutely. I was Uber Michigana. That extra crazy in those days, and you know what? In these days too. But you evoked a lot of great memories of Travis Air Force Base, and I don't know how I got into that story, Lenny. That's
as an Air Force brat, her dad used to carry her along. How many bases have you gone to?
Well, we stayed in the States when he fought in both Vietnam and Korea.
Yeah, like Ted Williams, Vietnam. And
maybe I remember his last name. I remember some of the colonels that would admonish me for one reason or another.
Tyko, you was a light colonel.
Not straight. Tyko, your attitude's not right. Tyko, get a haircut. Tyko, pay attention.
His name was Werner, Edward Werner.
Edward, I don't remember.
Look him up. He's a legend.
But I was in supply, and I basically stayed there at Travis for my whole 3 years and some odd months, and it was.
You did a lot of push-ups, right? You got in trouble.
Well, Tyko, give me one. We're at the Air Force. It didn't matter. Tyko, don't even think about a push-up. It didn't matter because we were the furthest thing away from military discipline you could imagine in those days. And that's why I joined. So how did you get, again, so you I'm curious about the car business. Tell me about the car business, because that entails basically the same kind of communication as with the horses. Am I right? Communicating with people is similar. Tell me the similarities, if you would.
Well, if you're a salesperson, you're a salesperson. It doesn't matter if you're selling horses or cars. I mean, you talk to people, you find out what they need, you find the thing to put it in there, and you sell them the car or the horse or you sell them on you and then the product.
Good point. You made two very good points. You find out what they want, and then you sell them what they want. And it's not really selling them, it's guiding them, isn't it?
Yeah. The amazing thing about it, I said I will not buy this car unless Hal did 45 push-ups. And he dropped, he's from Minnesota. So he dropped and did the 45, and I bought the car. He stuck at 35 for a while, though.
Okay.
I got another gentleman who's a car enthusiast and a historian, Bill. He wears a Dodger hat to bed, to dinner, to the grave he'll wear. He's a Dodger diehard. He's a Vin Scully clone. He almost looks like Lasorda's cousin.
Okay.
This is Bill. You're live radio.
You look like Sean Connery.
Sean Connery. Get your shot.
Lenny,
Yeah,
do you equate everything in your life to baseball?
No, I don't. When I look at him, he has Elvis Presley memorabilia in his office. I'm going to take pictures and send it to you. He has Dolly Parton stuff. He has old magazines from the first concert from Willie Nelson and the albums on his wall in his business office.
Don't forget the deer head.
And a deer head. He's got a deer head in his office. So Bill meet Ralph, Ralph meet Bill.
Ralph, the reason why we talk about baseball is this how I know Lenny. I've known him. I know his whole career. I know all about him. I met Ted Williams. I met Mickey Mantle, Joe DiMaggio. This is why me and Lenny get along so well. I know all about him. That's why we talk about baseball all day. This is what we talk about.
Every time I have Lenny on, I try to ask him about one thing that I don't know about Ted Williams. And Lenny, give me something that not just me, my audience may not know about Ted Williams.
Ted Williams.
You're intimate with the man. You really.
Ted Williams. He says, look. He says, Lenny, shut up. Get up. We're going on a yacht. We're going to Florida. Sign the contract. We're going to talk about Tony Gwynn hitting, and I want you to hit like Tony Gwynn. We're going to go fishing, and we jumped on a yacht. We had a mate. I'm from straight out of Compton. All I did is concrete fishing. I don't know nothing about no water in the ocean. We got to get a marlin. We got to get a marlin. I'm going marlin. I'm thinking Jackson 5, the Marlin singer, one of the brothers. I don't know. So we jump in. Fergie Jenkins is with us, with Brad Corbett. And then he goes, like Bill, you a fisherman as well. He goes, your hands are going to be the key to your life. Your hands are going to be the key to your life. You're going to get strength and you're going to get power in those wrists. So when you're pulling in that fish, you got to be patient. Sit on the fastball. Don't swing at the first pitch. You got to be patient. You never want to catch the first fish. You never want to fetch the first curveball. You set up a pitcher just like you set up a fish. I'm going, okay. So he goes, do you know that, yeah, women will fish you better than you can fish a fish, but that's another topic. So while we're fishing, he goes, you feel that hook? You feel him biting that hook? He's calling you, baiting you. Now, like a pitcher, he might throw you a hanging curveball. And you're going, oh, man, I should have hit that hanging curveball. Because the hanging curveball is a base hit or home run in Ted Williams' eyes. So he goes, okay. The fastball, you can hit it with your, I can't say it because we're on national TV. You hit it with your, the lower part of your body.
So we're on podcast radio. You can say it any way you would say it.
Okay.
You were sitting in your living room.
Okay. He said, I'll hit it with my DICK. Okay. Right. He says, I can hit it. I can hit it. Okay. So, while he goes, okay, now.
Go to confession. You spelled it out.
I spelled it out. I didn't say it.
The first thing I did when I had a kid and he was old enough to understand, I said, don't say fuck instead in front of the KIDS.
Well, Ted cussed a lot. I learned how to cuss through him as well because he was a pilot.
Right.
You know,
you learned from him or he learned from you? You were from Compton.
Right. So fishing was a great, great venture with him because I was learning how to be patient. I was learning how to hit. I was learning how to set up a pitcher. You know, sometimes he said he would spit at a curveball just to let the pitcher know he wasn't nothing. It had nothing on it. And sometimes he said they would brush him back intentionally, throw at his head. Now, you know he didn't wear a helmet in that era. He said, I was hard-headed and I lived hard, and if you hit me, I'm a military guy. I can dodge bullets. That's a big statement. So I'm going, whoa, he had a hard life, you know. So I go, well, I'm wearing a helmet. I'm not gonna. He goes, no, I have to be. He wanted to be the intimidator instead of intimidatee. You know, some people are intimidators. He intimidated opposing pitchers. He was that good.
Did he really not wear a helmet well into the? I mean,
didn't wear a helmet. Look at what Willie. Remember the Bing brawls the Dodgers had and the Giants had and the Yankees had and you know and Maddle.
Oh yeah.
Maddle started. The first guy, Bob Montgomery, is the first guy in Brooks Robinson started wearing helmets. 60s. Think about it. I know the history. I'm like, how come they didn't think of this sooner? Because all they did was brawl. Yogi didn't wear a helmet and got hit 3 or 4 times in the coconut. Maybe that's why he's working for Aflac.
Quack. Yogi is missed. You know, today is the 2nd anniversary of his passing, and
amazing guy.
He's not a baseball fan that doesn't think of him at least weekly, at least once a week, something that will remind you. You know,
as a Yankee, his son was my roommate.
You told me how Ted would equate hitting with fishing and how he would teach his disciples that. I'd never heard that. I knew he was a great fisherman. I knew he had a contract with Sears that paid him.
Let me tell you this. Here's the kicker with that. While we're in the boat, Ralph, he goes, listen, guys, I'm happy you guys went to college. You went to Arizona State. You graduated, you got a degree. I didn't get my freaking degree. I'm pissed off at baseball because of that. I'm pissed off at the war because I wanted to save my country. But I'm happy I did go to war. What I'd like to do now is see you guys all get your degrees because I can't make the money in baseball that I can make with Sears and Roebuck fishing. I make $150,000 fishing, and I can't make a dime, hardly. I'm only coming back because of you youngsters. Joe Levito, Joe Torre, Joe Levito, Jeff Burrows, Sunbird, Toby Hub, Jim Mason. I'm coming back to baseball because of you guys.
Talk about him for a second. A very underrated catcher in the 70s. Am I correct?
The catcher, which one? Paul Casanova, Schwartz, Sunbird. Jim Sunbird was like this. Ted told him, and so did Billy Martin. Billy Martin said to him as well, I'm going to give you both, because they looked at him as a manager. They said, we don't care what you hit, Ted said. I had catchers like Rube Walker and Yogi, and he started naming all these guys that have been catchers. He says, you guys take a beating. It's brutal. Every pitch, every game, you're in it. You're like the co-managers on the field or the managers. I respect you guys. So when I come as a manager to talk to you about how a guy's pitching and where's he throwing, and there's a stuff weak, I can see it from the sidelines that you guys are catching it. So, Sonny, I want you to take over the team like you're me. If I call a pitch out, you call a pitch out. If I want you to pick somebody else, you pick somebody else. You have free reign to pick off a guy second, third, or home. If you don't like the umpire, I'll get him tossed, and he'll toss me out of the game. I know Richard Nixon. I know Richard. I can have him removed.
Hey, this is a man who flew with John Glenn. He was John Glenn's anchor guy, or whatever they called him. In World War II, and had to give up another major part of his career in Korea. That sucked.
Yeah. They missed 2 years a year of most of those guys for baseball to go back, and they were phenomenal. And the thing about it, I met the ladies' league of their own that picked up the slack, and that Negro League players picked up the slack. I even met the Tuskegee Airmen who flew with Ted Williams in Korea and over in Italy. It's amazing that some of them are still alive. The Buffalo Soldier guys. Yeah, Tuskegee Airmen. We filmed 105 of them. That'll be out soon. We're going to do a documentary about them. There's only like 5 or 10 of them left since the video shoot we did at Dodger Stadium, a tribute to them. It's going to be an amazing story when you see Frank Evans and Miles Mules and Cool Pachelbel, Ernie Banks and all those guys that played, of Hank Aaron and Willie were the ones that got through with Jackie. But the ones you don't know about are the ones that have the best stories.
I'm looking forward to that a lot, an awful lot. Just footage of Cool Papa Bell itself has to be incredible to you. Did you get to meet him at all in your life?
I had the privilege of going in. I was going to sign with the White Sox free agent. Bill Beck flew me in from Puerto Rico. I met Cool Papa Bell with Gary Goldstein, the owner of War, Lowrider, the artist, the performer who wrote Hang On Sloopy. He was a fan of War, the music. Cool Papa Bell was kind of hip. He was a very update guy, even though he was 80 years old. He said to me, Lenny, don't slide a lot. You will break your legs or hurt your legs. I can't walk. I'm in a wheelchair because I tried to steal 90 bases or 100 bases. If I was smart, I just would have stole when it was necessary. I was stupid. I stole when I shouldn't have. Now I'm suffering. I could have, that was, he says, do like Davy Lopes. He does 52 or 53. He's not trying to break Maury Will's record or Ricky Henderson's record. He said, just stay healthy unless you don't want to walk.
Well, here's an interesting quote about that Willie Mays said when Canseco, and I get this from Michael Duca, who's the co-host on my Giant show on this network, and he's quoting Mays, who when Canseco broke the 40-40 record, Mays said, if I knew it was so important to steal 40 bases, I'd have done it 5 or 6 times. That kind of thing. Willie only stole when it was necessary. And
that's it.
Am I right about that? He was with his sense of the bases. He had the same kind of sense as Davy Lopes had. He could read a pitcher. He could know when to go, when not to go. He had the same philosophy. Why steal when it's not necessary? You just tear up your body, and it really doesn't do your team any good if it's just for the numbers. Not to say anything about Ricky Henderson, but I'm sure he tacked on at times.
Yeah. Willie mentored me in New York as a Met. He was my coach, him and Phil Cavalletto, along with Crane Poole and Joe Torre. And Joe Torre was a good buddy of Lou Brock, Cardinals. And he was going, go spend some time with Lou Brock, spend some time with Willie, because Willie's going to tell you what he told me. Leave the field dirty. Leave the field dirty every day. You're the dirtiest guy on the field. And the fans will love you in New York and anywhere else you go. And if you don't do that, you got to answer to me, because I do drive-bys.
Hey, I live in a quiet neighborhood. They don't have drive-by shootings. They have drive-by stabbings.
Oh, you have cappuccino and espresso probably where you are, upper crust.
No, I'm not a cappuccino kind of guy. At all. I am none of that. I am.
So, Willie,
as you will find out when you come visit in Alameda, Lenny,
I'm looking forward to it. The
airport is 20 minutes away in Oakland.
Where's the nearest field? Give me the nearest field. You near Napa or you near?
No, I'm near the adjacent to Oakland. Alameda is a little island.
Okay. So you're actually in beast mode.
Yes.
Okay. Hayward's not far from you as well, am I right?
Hayward is not far.
And Santa Clara either, right?
Yeah, so you'll come, you'll visit, you'll have fun.
I'm gonna bring. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was just going to say, we could go on forever every day. So I don't.
Okay.
I want you to plan on bringing Thad Bosley on one day, because it was his birthday a week or so ago, and I thought of him, and I thought of a thing on YouTube. You guys had a record together. Tell me about how that came about.
The record is being re-released with the Rolling Stone magazine. We're going to have the proceeds go to the Kids of Compton. We just did a version of it last weekend. It's called I'm a Ball Player and Kingdom, our tribute to the Seattle Mariners Stadium. The proceeds from the sale of that record, we did 100,000 copies before. We're going to have the proceeds go to Travel Ball for that team to go to Italy. We're going to pay all their expenses to go over to Italy and play the youth there. The previous record did 20,000 in voice communicator. Davey Fittington had cerebral palsy. He couldn't walk. He came to the field every day in a wheelchair. He stayed by the batting cage, and he would go he had that raspy kind of way to talk, and drool and everything. So we bought him a communicator like Stevie Wonder that goes, "There is to perfection," that voice analyzer. Stevie Wonder is one of my greatest guys ever on the planet. So I said for this idea that you use Stevie Wonder's instrument, put it on your neck, talk like however you want to, sing, part, whatever. Now you have a way of communicating with all the players. And Dad goes, "Lenny, let's write a song for this kid." We wrote a song, sold 100,000. CBS, ABC went through the roof. We started getting booked for shows. So now they want us to be rock stars. We're still playing ball. They were calling our manager Latchman, and they go, "Can we book Dad and Lenny in Chicago?" And he goes, "I want him to get a hit."
Marcel Latchman or his brother Bill?
Renee Latchman.
Renee.
The one that's in the group for arguing, Lenny, and blowing the up.
Lenny, there's a third Latchman brother. You guys are all from Compton.
I know this. That's why I was on the Mariners, because it was a top central hookup.
Good hookup. Way to hook up, Lenny.
Only one we were missing is Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre and Dana.
Yeah. Well, Bill, I don't think Bill ever made the majors, but he was a minor league guru of a coach and a player developer when I was the Tops rep back in the 80s, and I got to meet him and hang with him. He's a very, very, very knowledgeable man.
You heard of Edward James Olmos?
Pardon me?
You heard of Edward James Olmos? You've heard of Edward James Olmos, the actor. He's from Compton. You ever heard of Paul Rodriguez? He's from Compton. You ever heard of George Bush? He's from Compton. You heard of Tarkanian? He's from Compton. You ever heard of Duke Snyder? He's from Compton. There's a lot of people. Strawberry. There's like 150 people that are there and no one knows.
Wow.
That's where the Dodgers had to live. Maury Wills had to live there. Tommy Davis had to live there. They didn't let them stay in housing in the L.A. area, so they lived in Compton. They did clinics. I was 12 years old. I was a water boy. I saw those guys at 12. I was going, who are these guys? Only guys I recognized was Lasorda and Don Drysdale. Don Drysdale was 6'6" with Lasorda. I go, who's the tall guy? And Albie Pearson, who's the short guy?
Little Albie Pearson from the Washington Senators when I was a kid was one of the first California Angels. I don't know if he was an original Angel, but he played for them early on. And, I have a picture somewhere of he and Frank Howard standing side by side. And I don't think Albie Pearson comes up to his armpits, to be honest with you.
He was like Billy Barney of baseball. He was like that. So remember, Boss, the plane. What was that guy's name with Ricardo Montalban? Tattoo. He was like Tattoo. He's amazing.
Lenny, I have a tattoo on the smallest butt cheek that I own.
Okay, let's keep that. And now that's another show. That's for TMZ Sports. Okay,
I just thought I'd share that with you because.
Oh my God! All right, well, I'll tell Dana. Send me a picture. No, send her a picture of it. I don't want to check.
No, I don't want to see it. I'll never get that thought out of my head as it is.
Hey, Lenny, this is a pleasure for me. Can we do this on a regular basis? Would you call it?
I'll call you tomorrow, 10 o'clock. I have a TV show host about a new movie coming out.
How about we do it at 9? We schedule
9 is fine. I'm up at 6. So I'll do it at 9. I'll wait for you.
We'll do it at 9. And when are you? I want to know from you because things are going to have to change when you go back to Italy. How long are you here?
I'm going to be here for 2 more weeks, and then we're going to go over there and film. I'm supposed to stay about. Yesterday I just went to Palm Springs, and I did a clinic there. They want me to do a 7-week. I'm going to share this with you live clinic on your network while we're there. These kids are learning to do sports broadcasting, sports journalism, training, nutrition, and how to be a pro like Jeter, A-Rod, or sing like Justin Timberlake. They're actually going to have a song out for you on the next show.
Wow. Holy Toledo, ladies and
Holy
gentlemen.
Toledo.
Holy Toledo. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about getting to talk to you tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock.
You got
Pacific time. And you have the numbers. And this is cool, Lenny. You live the greatest life in the world. Every day I talk to you, you got more stuff going on. You have more enthusiasm. You have more love for life and for people than anyone I know. You are indeed the most interesting man in baseball. I concur with that man who said that. Who named you that?
Dan Epstein, Rolling Stone magazine sponsor. He's going to be a part of the tour. And he's getting married in Anzio, Italy. He's going to take him over to Anzio, Italy.
On this show, and I will thank him for all of my audience and all of the baseball world for naming you that, because it's not overstated. You think, well, the guy, the most interesting man. You live up to it. I'll tell you.
Oh, my God. I'll call him tomorrow, see if I can get him on. That'd be awesome.
Beautiful. See you at 9 o'clock tomorrow, Lenny.
9 o'clock.
And we'll give you a page on the network. And what would you like to call the show? Lenny World? Lenny is... How about Randle is Zoned? I like that one.
You got it.
Beautiful. I'll give you a page. I'll send you a link. And... we'll post the show every day.
There you go. Rock and roll.
Adios, see you tomorrow.
Adios.
Thank you, all the guests that chipped in. I really appreciate it. I hope you sell 1 million cars. I hope you sell...
I'm going to give them a watch and put your name on it.
Okay. See you at 9. Huh? That was the producer in me this morning. Did you like that? I capitalized precisely. And
you're cloning yourself.
And it worked. See you later, guy.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow with Randle is Zoned. Adios, everybody.